Today, we're diving into the wild, unfiltered world of Reddit confessions. We've got 6 jaw-dropping stories that will leave you speechless. Grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's uncover the raw, real, and sometimes unbelievable confessions that people just had to get off their chests. Let's get into it. I own an exotic car rental company, and I hate how fake all of my clients are. Throwaway for obvious reasons, so I don't get doxxed. But I own an exotic rental car company in one of the largest markets for it in the USA. Along with cars, I rent our boats, houses, and even watches. On average, I profit about $40,000 to $50,000 a month. I love what I do because it lets me own very nice things without having to pay for them out of my own pocket. But I've begun to despise my clientele. The rapper in the G-Wagon you see on Instagram is renting it from me for $899 a day. Then they film their music videos on my boat for $3,000 a day, and then pretend to live in my houses that I rent to them for $1,000 a night. The iced-out Patek he's wearing is another $1,500 a day to rent. The finance guru in the 911 you see on TikTok with the full gold Rolex has rented both from me on a weekly basis for $2,500. Sure, I get it. Money attracts money, and renting these things to show off help further their businesses. But it also makes me despise them. When I originally started, I wanted to cater to car enthusiasts. I wanted to rent to the dude who just turned 50 and wanted to rent a Lamborghini to celebrate. Or the guy who wanted a classy spec 911 for his wedding. Unfortunately, that's not where the money is. It's way too easy to make a killing off renting to the people who are trying to flex, which is why I expanded into renting yachts, houses, and watches. A couple months ago, we had a client rent our Ferrari 488 and post on Instagram in the car with $1,000 in singles. He left an ATM receipt in the car from that transaction, and it showed he had $40 available balance after withdrawing that $1,000, and honestly, I just felt bad for the guy. No amount of flexing on Instagram is going to fill whatever void you're trying to fill. Just a reminder that everything you see online is extremely fake, and unfortunately, that's now expanded into the real world too. My dad and little sister were killed by her husband before he killed himself. My little sister was having trouble with her husband who was abusing and beating her up, so she went back to live with my parents after she had enough and filed for a divorce and pressed charges against her husband. And one day he went over to my parents' house and entered without anyone noticing him, and shot and killed my dad before raping my sister and emptying his gun in her, killing her too, before he eventually killed himself. Thank God Mom wasn't home that day. My parents live a bit away from everyone, so nobody heard a thing, and I was the one that found them because I wanted to give my dad a package. I got that her ordered. I found him dead with 3 or 4 gunshots and found my sister naked with her clothes ripped, and the bastard had covered her with his disgusting cum after he killed her, and he had shot his brains off. It's been over 6 to 7 years since this happened, and I still can't get that image out of my head. I'm not even dead yet, and my family us fighting over my assets. I have terminal cancer and opted to cease treatment. I don't want to suffer 6 months of torture just to live 6 more months when I can die in 3, but be high as a kite every day. I have about $500,000 in my pension, and recently cashed out 2 life insurance policies worth $1 million each. I don't have debt. Originally, my beneficiary was my niece, but she found meth, and there's no way I'm giving a tweaker $2.5 million. At first, I thought my family cared about me, but they were just jockeying for my money. They've gotten to the point where they openly bad-mouth each other to me and fight like cats and dogs. The worst is my SEL. She wants that inheritance to pay off her debts and their family home because she's planning on divorcing my brother. My other sister doesn't need the money and would probably spend it on her spoiled kids. My other sister is a loser, and her kids are all fucked up. Her daughter is the tweaker. If I leave it to my mom, then she'll give it to my siblings. I have an aunt who doesn't want the money. I told everyone that they will all get a piece of the pie, SIL included. Reality is that I'm not leaving them shit. I'm leaving it all to help Ukrainian kids. I lied to my dying son. My son passed away from leukemia when he was 8 years old. We all knew he was dying. His mom often spoke to him about how he was going to go to heaven, and it was going to be the best thing ever. Ironically, I became an atheist when we found out he was dying. My son's biggest fear was dying and going to heaven without me. his mom, his older brothers, and even his cat. So I assured him that I would be right behind him. He asked about everyone else, and I said they would be fine. They would finish their time here, but it would be just me and him together in heaven. He believed me, even though I didn't believe anything I said. He slipped into a coma the next day and died 3 days later. I thought about killing myself, but I have 2 older kids. That would fuck them up. They need me. I feel like a piece of shit. Every night for the last 4 years, I've been plagued with nightmares. He's in my dreams, and it's never a pleasant dream. Every night is like a nightmare on Elm Street. The only times I don't have those dreams is when I get super high a couple of times a week, and I'll sleep for like 3 hours. I'm slowly dying and haven't told my family, friends, or kids. 10 years ago, my ex-wife and I split up because I caught her cheating with my best friend. While I was moving out, she became irate that I refused to stay, and while I was bent over picking up my clothes, she struck me 3 times with a meat tenderizer over the head, almost ending my life. After surviving, I refused to press charges because I just wanted out. We went to court for the kids, and she was awarded primary physical custody due to the judge believing the tender years clause, and I was awarded equal legal, and every weekend and summer. This, of course, meant that I was paying $1,200 a month support, because after the divorce, she quit her job because, in her own words, "I'm going to make you regret walking away." Because of this, I was required to work 2 full-time jobs in order to survive. Because of this, I was surviving off excessive caffeine use. In 2019, my kidneys failed, causing my body to fill with fluid, choking off my lungs and slowly killing me. I ended up in the hospital after collapsing in court during a custody modification hearing, where she was asking to take every other weekend away because she wanted to have some weekends with the kids while they were out of school. Because of the damage I put my body through, I was in the hospital for 14 days. I was unable to work because I was on oxygen and had to do dialysis. I regained some kidney function, but due to the job I had, and the fact that my lungs were literally being choked by fluid, I am supposed to be on oxygen permanently. Since I cannot work and am on disability, thus making it impossible for her to get the amount of support she was accustomed to, my ex-wife has called me 3 times a week since my hospital stay, when I don't have the kids to tell me I should end my life. I've reported her to the police, but they haven't done anything. This may be because my ex-father-in-law works for the county government and is on friendly terms with the local police. Recently, it's been getting to me. I stopped using my oxygen regularly and only take half doses of my Lasix to help with my renal disease and kidney failure. I don't want to end my life and bring shame to my kids, so I figure eventually I'll collapse and not wake up, and she will get what she wants. And my kids won't remember me as someone who gave up. Update. After talking with some of you the past couple days and realizing what's truly important, I'm going to take the advice that so many of you have given. I've restarted my meds and have contacted my doctor to get an appointment for a checkup and update on my condition. I sat down today and realized that if I give up, then what's to stop her from attacking my kids next? I have contacted a couple lawyers in both family law for my state, as well as civil lawyers, about finding out if I have a case for a lawsuit against her for the initial attack, as well as the constant harassment. My first priority, though, is to get my children away and safe from their mother. Though she has never physically harmed them before, I am terrified that if I pass away, that she will make one of them her new target, so to speak. Thank you all for the kick in the ass that I needed to get out of this slump. I'm also considering seeking counseling so that I can get help with the mental health I feel I most definitely need. I got a paternity test on my son behind my wife's back. 2 years ago, we had a baby boy, and from the moment he was born, I felt like something was off, and it was obvious. Our child didn't look like us. Now I get that children don't look like parents often and you have to wait to see how they look, but this was different. My son was blonde, blue eyes, and with a very fair skin complexion. I am Mexican, my wife is Colombian, we both have a slightly darker skin tone, think Selma Hayek's complexion. We both have dark brown eyes, black hair, and dark brown hair. Not only that, both of our parents have dark hair and brown eyes, with the exception of my mother who has a hazel eyes. All of our grandparents have dark hair, brown skin, and dark eyes. How was my child blonde, blue eyes, and fair? I had people tell me that the lots of babies are born with blue-gray eyes and darken up, and their skin and hair change vastly as well. So I waited it out and assumed the child was mine. But here we are after 2 years, and if anything, his eyes are more blue, more blonde, and even lighter skin. He does not look like us. I started getting comments on how he must be the mailman's son, or weird looks or jokes. I was once questioned at a park if the child I was playing with was my son. My wife is always be asked if she is his nannies, and it made me feel so angry. My wife never thought it was a big deal and would say people are just playing around. But I know some people think I am raising another man's child. It started to wear on me. I had no reason to think my wife cheated on me other than his looks. It was eating me inside, and I took my son to get a paternity test without telling my wife. Well, it turns out he is 100% mine. I was so relieved. I wanted to show this to anyone who made comments or joked about my son not being mine. That night, I casually asked my wife if she would have been mad if I got a paternity test when our son was born, and she reacted very offended that I would even consider that she cheated on me. She said, "If would have affected our relationship negatively, knowing I couldn't trust her." I played it off that I was joking, but now because of the paternity test, she was correct, and I had no reason other than the way he looked. Now, I have replaced the feeling of doubt of my child with guilt. Now I feel like an insecure asshole. I don't know if I should tell her or keep this locked away forever. And that's another dive into the unsettling world of Reddit. If you're ready for more stories that will keep you up at night, subscribe and join me as we uncover the internet's darkest secrets. Remember, not all stories are meant to be told, but these ones were. See you in the next video.